Welcome to Savvy Business, Life Unscripted, with your host, Christina Rivera, where our guests share their wisdom and valuable business tips, empowering our audience to expand their personal potential.
Hi, Michelle Boulé. Welcome to Savvy Broadcasting Life Unscripted. We are here for our Forbidden Speech series, The Raw Truth. And the raw truth today is, how do we get off that hamster wheel of life? I think the whole pandemic thing did get some people to introspect and slow down a bit, do that respite thing. But, in some cases, people worked even harder and got less results. The hamster wheel metaphor, you're just moving. A lot of entrepreneurs say, hey, I'm moving 300 miles an hour. I'm working, but not seeing the results. And you've worked with entrepreneurs for years and helped them get unstuck. So I know you're going to be able to help our audience today.
Thank you for having me here.
You betcha. So what has been your experiences working with your clients? What gets people on that kind of metaphorical hamster wheel that they just keep working hard, but really not seeing the results?
Yeah, well, we in Western culture have really been raised with the idea that we have to work harder to get a result. You hear, I remember actually when I made some of my first quantum leaps and I was meeting new people. One example in particular, I was in a new friend's car with her daughter.
Mhm.
And she was like, well, Michelle's been a really successful dancer and healer and coach. She worked really hard. And she said
Hmm.
to her daughter, and a part of me was like, wait, I mean, yes, like I show up and I put in the time and, I work with people who had some level of success and they know it does take time to learn a skill, to master it. But there's also a refinement in that where we're learning how to leverage and we're learning how to more precisely direct our energy so that it's not about, let me work harder, like literally in our bodies. If you're out of alignment, let's say you're taking a run, you're running and you want to run further, longer, faster, but your knee is out of alignment, right? It's not about going harder with that same understanding. We have to get you back into alignment and then put the effort forward. So I think what the missing piece is for a lot of people is what's not true, what's out of alignment that will then, when we bring that truth in, allow them to work more efficiently, work with more ease. And if you own your own business, most of the reasons we do this, right, are for freedom and joy. So to be able to reach that goal.
Yeah. And you know what I'm liking about this? This recalls for me, I studied dance for a number of years, and there was a master instructor who I was amazed. She was going through her last stages of life, her golden years, and she had what do you call it? Lung cancer. But she still came every day and taught. And what blew me away was when she showed a piece of choreography. She didn't have to use a lot of energy. Like all of her students who would copy her were like, whatever, using all this energy, but she would become the dance, the music. And she didn't have to use a lot of energy to do that. And that was the moment I thought, well, that's interesting. Why does she not have to put forth as much energy as I or the rest of the crew seem to put forth to get the same or better results, actually?
Yeah, I can totally relate to that, having danced for now like 40 years of my life. And, in the beginning of a ballet class, for example, you're doing plies and it's like just a warm up. And I used to
Yeah.
be sweating during plies, it's just like trying to work so hard because, again, that paradigm that I have to work hard to get a result was so ingrained in me. So I also then went through years of study, 10,000s of hours to work more efficiently. And that's what I want to bring to business owners. And a lot of times that looks like leverage, hiring people, changing your prices if needed, delegation, becoming a better leader. And, ultimately it always boils down to, what do you want? What do you want your business to look like? What do you want your life to look like? From that starting point, then it's about what kind of mindset skills. Also for me, when I'm working with people, I bring in embodiment and energy healing, and meditation. So that's my methodology in working with people. But once a person finds the tools that help them get back into alignment, then they tap into that infinite potential.
Yeah, this is so fascinating for me because I just today thinking I have went on a journey last year to transform my body, get away from diabetes or pre-diabetes. So I lost some weight, whatever. But I'm thinking, okay, I want more results, so I'm just going to go to the gym more. And my trainer was saying, no, more doesn't equal better. You want to put forth a good amount of effort where you're, not just coming here and looking at your phone or whatever. Like you have a plan, you execute it, and then you let your body recover. Because more doesn't equal better. And I think that's the same thing entrepreneurs do. Oh, if I just make 20 more million sales calls without realizing what might have not gone right in some of those sales calls that I can improve upon, instead of just like, I'm just going to charge, hey, and make 100 more calls and I'm going to succeed.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
You know what? I sorry, I said this when you were speaking. When you went into more, you're like your face scrunched up, right? It's
I
like,
know.
and it's literally like that's what's happening to us in our thinking and
Mhm.
our energy when we're trying, like we're doing this work to expand, right? We want
Mhm.
to expand our businesses. We want to expand our experience of ourselves.
Mhm.
And then that more thing comes in, and what a person starts to do is they lock down, right? Like
Mm.
literally as I go into that energy, and I see this with entrepreneurs, the
Yeah.
fear, how is it going to happen? Where is it? This
Mhm.
like grasping control. I can feel
Mm.
it in my own body. It's like
Yeah.
everything locks down. And literally in our biology, we do start to shut down our higher thinking centers. We do
Mm.
start to shut down the circulation within our torso and organs where we can generate and digest and integrate and create.
Mm.
So it's
Yeah.
it's a fascinating thing, like to be able to get off the hamster wheel. You have to, it's like we think that's actually doing something.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
let's just step back, create some space, and say, okay, what new information do I need to bring in here? Because I know there's an easier way. What's going to help me? Who? Like, and then just like take the next step and take the next step.
Yeah, and try it out. Sometimes it's just trial and error. What's
Yeah.
interesting is I started with a new client that would book more hours into my schedule. I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do savvy and that and do it well and give my best? And what I started to do is look at ways that I could streamline and make things more efficient in my business and my podcast. And I said, so now I work with right here. We're using StreamYard. It's very efficient. You can set up all the assets ahead of time. Boom, just climb right in here and have this wonderful live chat that everyone can hear as we're doing it. But those are just some ways to get efficient sometimes. And I think talk to me about this, how you've had this go with your clients, is that sometimes when it's too easy and you start finding ways to make it simpler, you're like, no, this can't be right. I'm actually getting more clients. It's easier. This can't be right.
Exactly. I mean, I
Mhm.
literally had a client text me last week. Actually, we were in a session last week, and she was like, I actually am making more money than I've ever
Mhm.
made, and I'm able to pursue this other passion in this job that
Mhm.
I just got. And
Yeah.
she was like baffled. It was she was tickled and baffled. She's like, "Wait a second. Is it this easy?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Yes." And the work that we did with her
Mhm.
is clarifying that intention and
Mhm.
just staying steady with that and removing everything else that says it's going to be a challenge. And
Mhm.
and I love this client. Like, and I've seen it myself, I've seen it in other people
Uh-huh.
tend to make things more complicated. It's our human nature, or I
Yeah.
don't know, human conditioning, I should say.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
and
you know what it is? It's like you're a dancer for many, many years. We think if we don't make it hard, we shouldn't have the fruits of our labor. Like if
mm,
it's not hard, it doesn't mean something, and that's not true because there's a difference between effort that you put forth because you do have to practice and get better and better, and say, okay, today what can I do to get just a little bit better, as opposed to I'm gonna, I'm gonna be hard. I'm gonna push.
yeah, I
Mhm.
think that also speaks to bringing in the ease and the love for what you do. Like
Mm.
when I was really doing a lot of professional dancing and teaching, I didn't mind that I spent an hour every day, like doing some research or warm up with my body. Like I loved it. So it wasn't hard. It was easy because I had a desire to show up in the world as the dancer that I wanted to be, as the artist. So it
Mm.
didn't mean I didn't work at it.
Mm.
And actually there's something else popping into my mind too, which
Uh-huh.
is I heard this about I think his name Usain Bolt was an Olympic athlete. And he, as part of his training, I think at least 50% of it was rest,
Ooh.
integration. It wasn't like, let me be at the gym all the time, running, all the, lifting weights. It was like, let me actually rest and step back. And I'm sure as an Olympic athlete, there were ways that he was approaching that rest in a very focused and intentional way.
Mhm.
But again, it's not like we will reach the point of diminishing return. We're only
Yeah.
capable of so much. Like we are part of that law of rhythm. We need our ups and downs.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
love that you say that. And what you mentioned right at the top when you started talking there was that pivot back to alignment. Because when you're doing what you're called to do and what you're here on this planet to do, like dance for you, uh, you're here to do that. So when you have to warm up your body as a way to get it ready to start dancing, you're not like, oh, I have to warm up my body. Oh, I don't want to do that again, because you're in alignment with what you really want to do and what you're here to do. So it's not a chore.
it's not a chore. And like,
Mhm.
like I don't dance as much as I used to. I'm definitely like in my work is coaching, and of course, like bringing out that potential. But
Mhm.
I am studying every single day,
Mhm.
for at least a couple hours. I'm listening to things, I'm reading, I'm reflecting. So, but it's not an effort.
Mhm.
It's like, when can I fit that in? Oh man, like I want,
Mhm.
sometimes I have to stop myself, honestly, because I love it
Mhm.
so much. And I think you'll see that with like
Mhm.
some professional athletes, like if you know Kobe Bryant, like the thing
Yeah.
that needed to happen with him, and even I don't know if it was Michael Jordan as much, but they needed to learn how to stop.
Mm.
It was like
Yeah.
learn how to rest. I have definitely had to learn how to do that one.
Yeah.
But I find that again, like back to the point you were making, though, it's just like I want to learn this stuff. I want to discover what I need to be able to express my full potential and help
Mhm.
other people do the same.
Yeah, I love that, because as you, and this is what I love about coaching, if you are an awesome coach, which I know you are, is that you can't help others see where their blocks are unless you first examine where are your own blocks. Where do I need to work to be my best self, show up my best self, so I can help others bring out
Yeah.
their best potential.
And that
Yeah.
is the coolest experience because every single time I have a breakthrough, I see
Mhm.
something new with my clients. I'm like, oh, awesome. Now I can help them in this way. Like, no one has it all figured out.
Mhm.
It's just like, I think we need to find the person we resonate with, the person who, they've gotten some results that you want. And it's like, okay, what can I learn from them?
Mhm.
And, and we're all a work in progress.
Yeah. Where does someone listening in saying, I think I'm that hamster on the wheel? Where do they begin to reflect and say, okay, how do I get off this wheel? Because it seems like, oh, no, but I need to do this. I need to do that. Where's their first step to begin to get off that hamster wheel?
Yeah. So when I'm working on something like this with a client, it's always
Mm,
what do you want?
mm,
Right? So they're tolerating something in their life. They're tolerating maybe, let's say, not enough time. So what
mm,
do you want? And we look at all the excuses that come up around why they can't have this. We
mm,
look at how that's actually not based in truth. Those excuses are usually based on some lack of feeling worthy or enough or lovable.
mm.
And then we look at new behaviors. And this is the scary part for people because the new behaviors come in. I mean, it's also exciting, but we
Yeah.
look at the new behaviors they can start to take. And if they actually do those behaviors, they'll move right towards that thing they desire. But first of all, they need to know what they want
Yeah.
and know that by the laws of the universe, it's 100% possible. And what we have to do is start setting up the behaviors so that they can actually manifest this desire.
Yeah, I love that you say that, because, even when I shifted to work with this client I'm working with and do Savvy, even more episodes, I'm actually able to put out better quality content and get things done and not feel like, because basically just different behaviors. And it's beforehand, oh, there's no way I could do more. And it's the stories we tell ourselves in our brain that it's not possible. But shifting and doing different behaviors, streamlining, whatever it might be for you, makes all the world of difference, whether it's, getting in shape. And that's a scary behavior. People will say in the beginning of the year, oh, I'm going to lose 50 pounds. The minute they see how huge that feels or is begins to be, because that's a huge goal, it's like set the smaller goal towards it, because that is a big goal and you're not going to see instant results.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
I think that's important. Like it's just one day at a time,
mhm,
one day at a time, and keep adjusting day by day by day. And also, I think in something you were saying, and I was listening to something in my study this morning about this, like we're capable of much more than we realize too.
mm.
And I think the thing that sometimes makes us believe we're not is all the resistance that we're facing and
Ah,
sometimes not even realizing it, right? So when that
mm,
resistance gets out of the way, And there's different ways to work on that. Like a person's energy and their potential starts to come through at a whole other level. And then so much more is actually possible.
You are so spot on, Michelle, because I've experienced that when I added on this fitness program with a trainer and eating whatever. I'm like, how am I going to go to the gym too? But no, it is possible to add them all together. But as like, you start eating better, you work out. Well, I got more energy. Yeah. So it's true. It all comes together. You just sometimes have to eliminate those mental blocks. But I know you're the person to help people do that. How can they get in contact with you and work with you? How can they do that?
Oh, thank you for asking. So you can go to michelleboulé.com. I see it's on the bottom of the screen there. Thank you. And we have a free resource on there. We change it up. There's a couple we put on there, but all you need to do is download that free resource. You can email us at info@michelleboulé.com, but that resource will get us in conversation. And also you can follow me on Instagram or Facebook if you want as well, and reach out to me that way. I would love to connect with you if this resonates with you.
Awesome. Well, Michelle Boulé, welcome again to Savvy, and thank you for sharing great brilliance today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you also.
Take care.
Bye.
Like, subscribe, and share this episode. To listen to more savvy episodes and savvy biz tips, go to www.lifeunscriptedradio.com. To find out about our paid sponsorship opportunities or how to become a guest, email Christina at lifeunscriptedradio.com.